Yeah, do you get your motherfucking money check, bro?
I know, right? I still haven't even got my freaking stimulus check.
Oh,
Yeah,
you know
so
why? Because they
I,
send them out to people that are dying last in hopes
I
that
was
you
gonna
won't
say,
get it.
because my Social Security hasn't kicked in just yet.
That's true. It takes a long time to get down to single digits, bro.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, so we got to travel up there to go get it and everything, and it's gonna. I mean, take it up there, figure it all out, travel up there to bring it back and all that good stuff.
Nice.
But speaking of traveling,
Ooh.
uh, I figured we'd give somebody a call who just made a big move, which should be an
Sounds like you're talking
interesting.
about somebody taking a shit.
Yeah, no, I didn't say a bowel move.
Did you make a big move? You
Did
made a
you
big
did you
move.
make? Did you make?
Did you make a big move? Big
No,
move.
I figured we call Will
Big move.
Abels because he just left like New York to go to Nashville, I think.
Oh, word.
Yeah, he's been all over the place recently. So let's
So
see
has
if
COVID.
yeah, let's see if he's around. Hey, there he is. Connecting
Hello.
to. Hey, Will, what's going on?
Not much. I am currently sitting in my new apartment in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah,
Hell
so
yeah.
you did make the move to Nashville. I
I
was just
did make
telling
the
Nick I
move.
wasn't 100% sure where, but I knew you were packing up and loading up the truck and moving to Beverly or wherever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was funny. So when we met, I had just left New York. So that was January 2020.
Yeah.
And that was like I was doing this nationwide tour and also semi figuring out where I wanted to move. And then ended up back in my hometown of Hagerstown, Maryland for the rest of 2020. so,
Damn.
yeah, so this is a nice and very welcome change.
Oh yeah, I bet. Start fresh with everything.
Yeah. I mean, even I don't even have a dresser like
I
that
was
kind
gonna
of stuff.
say it's a
They're
pretty blank
overrated,
wall
dude.
right behind you there.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the bare bones at the moment, but I got the couch. That's couch and the TV, and that's all you really need.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Are you you said that they're starting to pick back up in Nashville and with comedy and stuff, or is it still
They're
slow going there
They never
too?
slowed down, dude. I don't know if you've watched the internet,
yeah.
Carlton. They did not.
What's the
They've
internet?
had, dude. They've had tons of like comics come through Zanies
Really?
over the last, yeah, the whole
And a
pandemic.
dump
They've
truck
had,
apparently.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
They did some light remodeling for COVID. It's weird.
Yeah, is that what it was?
Yeah, they have not slowed down here from what
Oh,
I could
well,
tell.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm still playing it safe, trying to do the Zoom shows, and then we're trying to bring an outdoor show back, but it's like just cold enough that I don't know if we could do it. But I mean, right now it's like 55 degrees out, so it's kind of okay. But yeah, it's kind of off-putting how open the city is,
yeah.
especially coming from because like I was in a small town in Maryland, and I thought like, oh, we're not doing a good job. We were doing a great job handling COVID compared to what to what Nashville's doing right
Oh, I
now.
bet.
Yeah. They when we shut down, we were doing everything outside at one of the breweries that we were doing
Yeah,
here, and like right around October it started to get just too cold to even bother. But honestly, I don't even know if that's true because one of the shows we did, it started to rain during the show and nobody left.
yeah,
Literally nobody
yeah,
left. They were all
Yeah.
like, we're desperate for something to do.
Crazy
So we
people
were
at that
handing
point.
out like umbrellas that people had left behind, and everybody just sat under umbrellas the entire time and watched the show. So I
Jesus.
mean, the cold weather may not be a deterrent with as little entertainment as there is right now.
yeah. So that's so I work with a producer named Kaylee Harmon. She runs Dewey Comedy Productions here, and her and I are talking about maybe bringing one back for February. But I've been told like February is the single worst month in Tennessee. So
Like weather-wise, yeah.
weather-wise, yeah. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Huh.
Yeah, we're actually the place we were doing the outdoor stuff, they're getting ready to empty out their warehouse portion of their business, and we're just going to move everything we did outside inside.
Yeah,
But it's still going to be socially distanced, but it's like maybe 15 tables, 12 to 15
yeah,
tables. So it's going to be limited, but everybody's so desperate for something to do that's like we
I
got to
know
do
it.
something. Plus we're dying here. There's just nothing happening. So
Well, it's like
Yeah, that.
the difference
Oh,
between us and like New York and stuff like that is like we never really capitalized on park or outdoor shows the same way that New York did. We just didn't do it.
yeah. Well, and also like different counties, not even just states, like different counties had different rules about performing specifically. Like so back in Maryland, I was running a brewery show outside, but they weren't allowed to do anything indoors in Washington County, which is the brewery I was running in. I don't think I would have done one indoors there anyway because it's tighter.
Yeah.
But then if you go over one county over to Frederick County, which is I don't know if you know, they run a great Sunday night show called At the Cellar Door. But that was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like that's where like the mic used to be. That's where the show was or whatever. They wouldn't let you do an outdoor show. So if you were performing, you had to be indoors. Right. And so
That's
I
weird.
That's
started
so weird.
one. Yeah. And it made no sense, especially for like singers. I mean, comedians as well. But so the only one that we tried to do is it was a brewery. It had two separate spaces. Kind of sounds like what you guys are talking about. And it had two separate spaces, and like it was just a couple of tables, super spread out in the back. But then like I think cases like really started to spike the day of the show. I was producing it from afar. I wasn't actually there. And I think like maybe 11 people showed up total, which honestly fine.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right at that
Again,
point, yeah.
anybody, and yeah,
Right.
that's how
So,
we've
but
been too.
Yeah, but I think that's the way to go. I think if you know if you have to perform indoors, I do think breweries are set up for it because they just have the space. It's
The
just
space,
you
yeah.
know.
Well, and when we were doing it, BC before COVID, it was the space inside. We were packing 100 people in because we were doing a Friday show, the last Friday of every month, and we were packing 100, 120 people in there. No way that's going to be anytime soon again, but
Yeah.
they got like a new warehouse space, so they're moving literally all their product, anything that they can get out of that back room so that we can do comedy. They're like super accommodating. So
That's cool.
we've
The
been
place
off
rules.
since like I said, the end of October. So we didn't do one November, we didn't do one December, and we're not gonna be able to do one January, but we're hoping to start it back up in February ourselves. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
That's fingers are crossed for you. And that's something I'm going to be working on here as well. It's not just the outdoor show with Kaylee, but I do want to find like a brewery or something because there's really not an independent scene here, which is kind of
Oh, really?
interesting. Yeah, and I think there's a lot of potential to capitalize on that because Zanies is obviously a massive club.
Sure.
Comedy bars popular, but there's a third club here, but I think it's like a club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a couple of rooms, like there's a mic every night, but there's not two mics every night from what I'm seeing. And so
Yeah.
I
Places
think-
like that are tough then too. Well, not tough, but you got to pick and choose your dynamic or what you're trying to focus on. Cause like in Richmond, we had, there were some nights where we had 3 mics.
Yeah.
Now, not all of them were good, obviously, but
Yeah.
there were some nights where it was like, you'd have 30 comics at one, and then I'd say 75% of them would try and make it to the other one after they were on first. So, we were bumping for a while. And then as soon as all this hit, like once people started to be able to edge it back in and they're like, we're going to try and do a room, it went from 2 mics a night to like 1 a week, maybe. And even those didn't hold. So it's rough.
That's what I was kind of noticing is some of the like Richmond's a big city. So I'm going to say a big scene for that aspect, but like, obviously like the big scenes like Chicago, Atlanta, New York, it took them a while. Well, New York's just leave New York. Like they were going to figure it out no matter what. It's New York.
Yeah,
exactly.
Rooftop shows and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Like as soon as they could, they're going to do it. Like the Tiny Cupboard in New York is crushing it. They're really, they've moved online. Like they're doing a great job. Yeah. They're really doing great. But, it was funny because like I said, I was stuck back in my hometown of Hagerstown, Maryland, and I was noticing like small towns like that, if they had a small scene like already established, they were still able to kind of maneuver and make it work. And so it was kind of funny being home the last 9 months because I got to see the scene sort of thrive during COVID because there weren't that many, like there's not that many comics. So you can do 2 mics a night and they can both get to them. We were running shows like across town on the same nights and we were still filling the rooms up because like, again, like people just wanted something to do.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of this cool thing of like, it was a Friday night and we have 2 breweries outside packed and they're doing the show, and it was fun.
Nice. And that's where you got started though, right? Was hometown?
No, I started in Boston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So was that you moved to Boston started, or you were originally from Boston?
So I'm from Maryland, but I went to school in Boston at
Oh,
Emerson
okay.
College. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I started at Emerson actually, and then did Boston for a little bit, for like a few months after I graduated. And then I went to New York. So the majority of my career has been in New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, dang, that's it's funny because Nick's been trying to crush it where he is, and then all the shit hit the fan, and I don't even know what you're doing. I mean, he's got a couple of mics that are pretty regular there now, don't you, Mike? Don't you, Nick?
Yeah, well, so like Tuesday is the only one here that I go to, like that's an in-person mic. Like I do that every Tuesday just because it's like my buddy Isaac hosts it, and he is it. I like going to his mic just because it's always more. I have more fun there. It's more comfortable. It's not far
Yeah.
from my house, and it's also like before things shut down, me and him were doing shows together, so it was like it's just that regularity of it. For me, it's just easier. And then outside of that, I do as much shit on Zoom as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you were doing some Zoom stuff too, though, right? Well,
Yeah. I actually recorded my album last year on Zoom.
oh, really?
So yeah, so when I was coming through Richmond last year, that was the start of that tour, which was going to end in May with my second album recording up in Portland, Maine. And I'm coming into I'm stuck back at home. We're coming into May, and Zoom was like just starting to pick up. Like
Yeah.
people were just starting to figure out how to do the shows. And I was talking to Kaylee, who's down here, and I was like, "Do you think we can try and record this album on Zoom?" And so we just did a bunch of different tests, and ran a bunch of practice shows, and then did 2 shows, recorded the whole thing, and it's actually I released it in October. And what I tell anyone that's listened to it or wants to listen to it is, for the first like 5, 6, 7 minutes, you're like, okay, this is on Zoom. And then you get and then after you just kind of say that to yourself, you don't really notice it because
Yeah.
we've gotten so used to Zoom in
Yeah.
our own worlds that
Yeah.
you're just kind of like, it doesn't sound as wild as it probably would have if we had just like recorded it and released it in May,
Yeah. How did
That makes sense.
you set it all up? Did you have like group of people, and like
Yeah.
did you do the like actually stand back microphone like you were on stage?
Yeah.
Just-
So we had 2 shows. We had about 25, 30 people on each Zoom show. It was sort of funny because it was hard to explain to people to turn their mics on. Like,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
So you got that
that's-
actual reaction.
right. So
Yeah.
I'm standing back. I have like I have a whole setup, and I'm recording my audio directly into GarageBand, and then Kaylee's recording through Zoom as well.
Yeah.
And so the laugh track all comes through Zoom. So it's the actual people that we're watching.
Gotcha.
But one of the problems is the way Zoom works, or the way it did at least, is whoever was the loudest, it went to them.
Oh, yeah.
So for a lot of the album, like every once in a while, you would hear like a collective laugh, and it was like, oh, okay, normal, great. But for the most part, it's like the 2 or 3 loudest laughers every single joke. Plus, there's the slight delay of like, oh, is Will done talking? Or so
Yeah.
there's points where like I'm pausing, waiting for the laughs, and then they're like, oh, he's done. Okay.
We never have to worry about that, do we, Nick? We never actually have to
I was
pause
just
for
gonna let you sit-
laughter.
I
There
was
just
gonna
never
let-
is
I was
any.
gonna let you sit in that.
Yeah, fuck you.
No, but that's like the hard thing with Zoom is I feel like because how long was your album, Will?
It was an hour and 5 minutes.
Oh, damn.
See,
Yeah.
like I think the longest I've done on Zoom so far is 10 minutes. And that is tough because I had to change the entire delivery of every single joke to accommodate for the fucking internet.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Like normally you're like, oh, you have to account for like noise in the room or the crowd or whatever, or something crazy happening in the room. Now it's like I just have to make sure all these people don't pause or that I don't lag or anything crazy. And then you just have to sit and wait. And then as soon as the laughs come in, then you're like, oh, okay, cool. Now I can get
Move
ready
on.
to go to the next joke.
That's the other
it's
thing
such a
that's-
weird,
yeah.
like that stop and go of it. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
so
that's
weird.
like you don't get the instant feedback, but you also don't get the subtle in between feedback. Like you'll get a couple
Right.
people that are still riding the wave of that last joke, and it's like normally you can just start to lead in as they're laughing, but like if you don't wait for that pause, it's like then you're talking over, and yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I commend you for giving that the college try on that, because that's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty because I did it, because I did it back to back. So this is like a 4.5 hour, 4 hour deal, and then editing was its own thing. But
yeah,
I forget which comedy buddy I was talking to about this, but I was like, running a long set, you eventually develop a tolerance to it. Like the first time I did a half hour straight through, I was exhausted the next like 2 or 3 days. Like it's like it was just just felt like I was doing physical labor. And so then the first time I did an hour back to back, I was out of commission for like a couple days. Like it's pretty wild. And so this because I didn't really get to like train myself sort of, I had a couple of test runs, but I went from doing between 15 to an hour on the road to doing 5-10 minute sets on Zoom. And that,
and then piecing it all.
Yeah. And then after that show, I mean, I was out for like a month. I mean, it was the most taxing thing I've ever done as a performer. And I'm really proud of it, but it was, I mean, I don't think I even thought about comedy for 3 weeks after.
Now, when you released it, did you release it as a Zoom video or just audio?
No, just audio, because we actually had to go back. The final joke, I could not get through it. The timing of Zoom, just because it's a very quick paced joke and it's usually about 5.5 minutes long. And on Zoom, it ends up being like 8 minutes. And just the timing just threw me off so much. So after listening to both versions of it, I was like, I could cut this, like between the two of them, I could cut them together, but it would be cutting like every other sentence together.
Yeah.
So we did a secret taping and I just redid that joke and then like kind of a couple of other things just so I had backups in case I needed it to go.
So you literally just use Zoom for the laugh track and for the audience, but the recording you did through GarageBand, you just use those samples.
Yeah, right? And there's a couple of pieces I'll probably cut together and start releasing as videos, which I probably should have been doing the entire time anyway, but I just got tired. Of working on
it. Well, we'll link the where's the audio up at?
It's on everything. It's on iTunes, Spotify,
okay.
Bandcamp.
I'll grab a couple links from you later. We'll toss it up when we post this.
Sure, that'd be great.
But so you're settling in. You got everything moved, and now you're just kind of waiting it out, right?
Yeah, that was kind of the one thing is I haven't had an apartment since 2018 because I was just crashing with buddies doing the road for like 2 years, and then I've been living with my parents for last year, and my ex got all the stuff when we broke up, and so it's been kind of fun just like putting the whole place together from the start.
Yeah, well, it's good, and with Zanies and everything, you've got at least some consistency of being able to do stuff.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a longer for me to get in with Zanies because from what I've gathered on their schedule, it's just headliner.
Oh, yeah.
And
I could see that. I mean, especially with everything that's going on in regards to COVID, I feel like I've talked to a lot of people about that. Is everyone that was here got moved down here, and everyone that was here got moved down here. So it's like that weird back shuffle of everyone kind of getting cut in line, and then everyone has to take a couple steps back to accommodate.
Right. Yeah. That's I completely agree with that.
Well, one of the things that fingers crossed, luckily here,
you don't die.
Shut up. Once everything starts picking back up, we've actually got a second club opening up here in Richmond, like a full-time comedy club called Sandman, which everybody around here is real pumped for because the only actual club that we have RVA wise is Funny Bone out at like Short Pump, which is like 40 minutes from Richmond. So we're going to actually have one in the city, like right around the corner from all the college kids. So it's going to be nice.
That's going to be,
we hope.
They
were supposed to open in September, and they've just basically been holding on for dear life, I guess.
I mean, I can't even imagine. So I don't know if you know who David Rodriguez is, but he's opening up a club in Fort Collins. like an hour north of Denver. And it was one of these things where like around this time I ended up in Denver in early March. That was like I mean, it was, man, when I tell you, I was all over. I don't know how, like, luckily when I was on the road, it was so early on into COVID, but like I was in LA in February for all of February. And I went to I was in Salt Lake, Denver, Kansas City, and then finally in Louisville, not in Louisville, in St. Louis, I was like, I got to get home. Like I can't stay out on the road. It's getting too dangerous.
You were still going west as of the beginning of March, right?
He was trying to outrun it.
So in March, I was heading
headlong
back
into it.
No, in March I was heading back east. So the oh my God. Well, anyway, so I'm getting sidetracked. The point is, I was in Denver and I was doing a show in Fort Collins, and David was like, "Hell, this is the club I'm opening up. I just like lease assigned, whatever." And so he just had to keep. So the thing is, he had a great project to work on during quarantine. He's building a club.
Yeah.
And finally, he just announced, he's like, I have to open it. Like I mean, I need to start paying it off, you know?
Yeah.
And so
that's kind of what they're doing here. They, the guy that
finish line's going to come at a point, dude. They're going to have no choice.
Yeah.
But to just be like, all right, fuck it. Whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah,
come on in. You want your birthday party here? Use the stage. Pinatas, hang them from the lights.
Well, we heard about that they were getting ready to do it like right after the beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
And they were taking over an old brewery, and they were going to go through and like completely gut it and do it all over. And the place is huge. It's like 6,000 square feet. Okay. And they got going. A couple people around here, some of the comics started talking to them, and they were like, "Yeah, we're going to do this." And then when COVID dropped, it was like shit. But they weren't done yet. They were anticipating being like September, August, maybe September. And then the closer they got, the more they got through it. It was like, well, there's no sense in us rushing right now. So they just they built most of the stuff inside themselves. They didn't have to like hire a bunch of people to come in because they had plenty of time to work with it.
Right.
Well, now the club's ready to go and ready to rock. And it's like, until they can lift the 10 o'clock alcohol ban, it's kind of like, they don't want to start and stop, you know?
Shows. Yeah.
Brunch
shows.
Eventually they're going to have to just pull the trigger.
Brunch shows are sick. That's what they should do.
Well, I've been talking to them and trying to get them to pick up something, but we're working on it. We're just so eager to have anything here now. It's like everybody's dying slowly. Some of us faster than others because we're older. Isn't that right?
Yeah, you old piece of shit.
So what else have you been doing to make up the time while you're there? Just
well, I
staying quarantined.
Mostly putting the apartment together. I just got approved to drive for Postmates, so I'm happy about that.
Hell yeah,
so
dude.
I'm gonna get my Postmates action on once we're done chatting here. Mostly like Zoom shows, and then been making a lot of lists. Been making a lot of lists of like, because that was the thing is, after the album came out, it was like, all right, I put all this effort into the album, did all the Zoom shows, live shows are closing back up. Like, I need to just focus on this move. So I've kind of taken like maybe a month, 6 weeks off from comedy. So what I've basically been doing now is just like, all right, got to get back into the rejection, got to start reaching out to shows and start, getting some thicker skin and remembering what it's like to just be told no all the time. So I'm just slowly grooming myself to be back at that mentality.
It's like my dating life in high school, being told no all the time. That's why I have an affinity for comedy. So are you working on touring too, or are you just trying to stay local for all that stuff?
Right now, this is actually something I've been toying with. I don't think I'll tour until the earliest March. I want to kind of focus on just getting my name out around here. That's another thing is like, I came by in November. I did shows here in November, and I met a ton of comics, but I also met almost all the comics, because that's like, because it's just not that big of a scene, which is fine. So I'm thinking I'm going to just kind of focus on that. And then maybe in February, kind of see where we're at as a country, and then maybe start putting some feelers out for setting up some like backyard shows, maybe late March or April.
Oh.
Backyard locally or backyard anywhere?
A little both. Yeah. Okay. I think if I toured, I would try and do it outdoors. Plus, I mean, kind of what you were talking about is if you're, tier wise for the clubs, like they're shooting high,
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to happen for me at the
Oh
moment.
yeah, because I think right now it's like take the least amount of risk. You get a name that people know, that you fill it up, and you're either gonna sell out all the shows or you're going to add shows. Versus like, oh yeah, let's just book somebody to headline or feature for one night that no one has any idea who it is. It's like, yeah, good luck, man. I don't envy anybody in that situation.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm definitely going to be just sticking around here and trying to get my name out there a little, because I don't really know what some clubs like they have like a very specific path to getting on stage. It's like Burlington, Vermont. Like I did the Vermont Comedy Club a few times, and theirs is basically like come to Vermont, do some Vermont shows, and then eventually, if you get on our radar, you can come host or feature, and then so on and so forth. But Zanies, I don't really know what their deal is because I'm brand new here, and like I said, they don't have any showcases, so it doesn't really. Well, they have one brunch showcase, but that's once a month, and even that's like, well, how do I get on that? Because so I'm
putting out a lot of feelers.
Doing the comedy bar, doing mics when I can, and honestly, just staying online as much as I can, just for safety's sake.
Well, that's good. I had something else I was going to ask you too, and then.
Oh, what's the matter? You forgot, old man?
Old age is fucking kick. Oh, yeah. Shut up.
Dude, you're dressed like the dad from Sandlot. You look at you. You just look like you're like, what's up, sport? Right before you crack open a beer and ask your wife to make you a steak. Look at you.
I hate you so much right now,
Carlton. Nick. Who the fuck wears that shade of brown if they don't wear for UPS?
Brown? This is green.
Is it green?
Blind bastard?
Dude, it looks like a tan olivey brown.
I would have said green.
Yeah, see,
olivey green.
Nick, your eyesight is fucked.
Dude,
maybe it's where you find out your.
Oh wait, no. It's because you have the shittiest old computer. That's what it is.
No, don't worry. It's because
see how Will and my's camera are clean.
It's because unlike you, Carlton, I don't see color.
No. No, I was gonna ask you like, what do you do for entertainment in between doing comedy? Like, are you a movie guy? Are you like a Housewives of Atlanta kind of
Atlanta?
Look at you trying to relate. It's so funny.
Although of all the Housewives of Atlanta is the one that I've actually watched and sort of enjoy. So good call.
You just got knocked down a peg on for me, Will. I threw that out there. That was the first thing that popped into my mind.
I see. I've seen it. They're fun. They're all self-made, so that's why I like them. I'm kind of in this phase right now where I'm like turning on my TV just makes me anxious because I'm like, oh God,
what the hell happened today?
Not even that. No, not even going that route. Oh God, that's my phone all day. But just like how much TV can I actually watch? I don't know. It's just too familiar to like the darkest days of quarantine.
Yeah.
So and it's getting dark so early, and just like so I've been trying to find other things to do than TV. So I've been listening to a lot of music, trying to get into more podcasts. I work out, like whenever I work out a lot, and it's funny because this new apartment complex, there's plenty of work to be done. I'm finding out it's only like 4 of us in this whole complex, but like I raked the backyard yesterday and it took me 5 hours because I'm pretty sure I'm the first person that's ever raked this property. So like,
I thought the whole point of living in an apartment was you didn't have to do that.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, I come walking up. It's day 1 of this new apartment, right? And I'm so excited. My sister, my mom drove me like halfway across the country to like help me move in. I'll be honest, they were not my first choice in family members, but they were the only ones willing to go.
That's so funny.
You gotta keep that bubble. You gotta keep that COVID bubble too.
Yeah, well, that too. But we're walking to the apartment. We just drove like 9 straight hours, 10 hours maybe. And
oh yeah, I guess I'm thinking, yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. And
Maryland. I'm an idiot.
And my neighbor comes out and we're like getting into the apartment and she's like, hey, did you go through this one company? And it's a company I've never heard of. And I was like, no. And she's like, well, the last tenant, basically currently this apartment's under investigation by the FBI.
Jesus Christ.
Hell yes, dude.
Because the person got swindled and because they just Venmo'd him the money, it's technically wire fraud, I think.
Oh my God.
And so I'm just like, that's not the company that I went through. Find out the company she's talking about got bought by the company that I went through, but they just didn't tell the other tenants. So I'm just like kind of freaking, I'm like, all right, whatever, this is weird.
Holy shit.
So last week I'm sitting here, nothing weird's happened. Landlord's never brought it up. I'm just assuming it's fine. I lose my key and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I lose my key and then the doorknob just falls off like within like 3 minutes of each other. I'm just like, what is happening here? So I'm like, you know what? I don't really feel that comfortable anyway. I'm just going to change all the locks. So I just like go to the hardware store, get everything, change the locks, call the company, tell them what happened. And they're like, no, we really want you to have that key. And I'm like, why? They're like, well, it's a smart key. And I'm like, it's not a smart key. It's any other key. I even used like the same brand of the deadbolt and stuff that fell off. Like, what are you talking about? So they're like, okay, well, I guess maybe it's fine. So I'm like, cool, we're settled. I have my own set of keys. I'm safe. They call me like Friday and they're like, yeah, we really have to change it back to that one. So they come by, they put the old bolt on and they give me a new key that would have worked on the old one. So I'm raking yesterday and I find my freaking key in the front yard. It must have just fallen out of my pocket and it works on this deadbolt. So I don't know how I keep getting myself into these kinds of situations.
But good God. You know, you should probably try that key on somebody else's door too and just...
No, don't do that. That's how you get shot. No, don't fucking listen to Carlton. Hey, you should just try and open all the keys. Have you ever played video games? You gotta find the door to the bathroom.
Yeah.
There might be a golden chest inside. You just find all the gold.
Yeah.
Just act like you're on heroin. Oh God, I'm sorry, man. I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
My house.
I guess the last time somebody went into the wrong apartment, it didn't work out well either. So yeah, that's true. We'll just glaze over that. Well, that's...
Jeez, wow, dude. Way to take us down. We were having fun.
I know, right? I didn't mean to. Sometimes, the Alzheimer's kicks in and I just... Well, damn, like if you've got all that going on, so what do they let you do? Like you said, you raked. I don't understand that. If it's an apartment, why are you cleaning up for the apartment people?
I mean, after that experience with the key,
pride, Carlton.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what. Yeah,
I haven't had that in years.
Look at yourself.
I don't know. It's like a decent backyard. It's a decent front yard. I just was like, it'd be kind of nice to come home and not be covered in leaves. And I had nothing else to do, and it was just kind of one of those like finding things to keep myself busy. So I'm not just watching TV. Yeah. It's the long version of what I've been doing to keep myself busy in between Zoom shows.
Just anything, any port in a storm, just something to do. Jesus, that's
some people are trying to find purpose right now, Carlton. Jeez.
I gave up on that after the second wife, so I don't.
Yeah, I'm slowly finding my destiny as a building manager.
There you go.
Hell yeah, dude! You've got the hat. The hat makes you look very superintendent.
And if you just keep finding keys, you'll have everything in the.
I don't want to go past that. You found your own key on the ground and put it in the new lock that they just switched you.
Well, I think the point of them putting the lock back is they wanted it to match up to the original keys that I had. Even though I told them I think I've lost my key. So yeah, I'm breaking out front and I see the key and I'm like, that looks like the key I lost. And it's like, it's shiny. It's like, it looks new. And I just was like, there's no way this is the key. But it would make sense because it was between where I would walk from my car to the apartment. But yeah, it worked.
That just feels weird because like, I know anytime I've ever lived in an apartment, the people before me would make extra keys when they lived there. And then when they left, they wouldn't turn them all in. I would like feel weird about that.
Yeah. And that's why I tried to switch it out, but I don't know. I mean, if I got the FBI watching me, I feel safe.
You feel safe. I was just saying,
you know what?
It's nothing safer than
that built-in canopy of being under FBI protection. Maybe not watch, but protection at least.
Yeah. As long as they don't look into any of my finances, just keep an eye on me.
Don't worry. You don't have to claim bar shows on your taxes. It's okay.
That was probably the funniest thing about when originally trying to file for unemployment was like, how do I prove like I made $150, in like some small town in Maryland. Then I was paid under the table. And then the other half of my payment was like beers, so many comics.
How do you write beers off?
That
happened to a lot of people. Yeah. That's crazy. Well, Will, it's good talking to you, man. I'm glad that you made the move okay and everything's going well. I try and check on people to see if they're having a shitty time like me, but most people are doing okay, and it's just me that gets more depressed after every time I talk to somebody.
Yeah, I'm doing okay now. I mean, I had my dark days of 2020, but I'm trying to keep those in the dark days and stay in the light.
Well, you look good. You look healthy, and congrats on the move and the new lease on life, I guess is the best way to say it.
There you go. You fucking
thanks.
dad joke.
Keep an eye on Facebook. I'll probably have COVID in 3 weeks.
Right.
3 weeks.
You didn't get it from us.
Eyeballing it.
Yeah, I'm feeling optimistic. I'll get it from a dog or something, knowing my luck.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, it's good talking to you.
Thanks.
That's where you want to leave that?
Yeah.
Hope you don't get it from
He gets COVID from a dog. I don't know how to top that. Is really where it goes.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay. Now you're making me sound like I'm special needs, Nick. What the fuck?
Well, you did a pretty good job of that yourself. Okay, goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye.